Yes, life can be wonderful if you're not afraid of it. All it needs is courage, imagination. What is there to fight for? Everything! Life itself isn't enough. What is there to fight for? Life is a beautiful, magnificent thing.
Yeah, all the different people that have existed and the experiences that they had and the stories that they had to tell, and how many of them there are. So many, so many, each individual with their own story and their own adventure that they went on, you know.
Yeah.
And they each have a little secret.
There's always
it's just
a
like
bunch of stuff in everybody's life that's gone unsaid and untold and unexperienced.
Yeah.
Everybody has at least a handful of experiences in their lives that either A, nobody else will know, or B, it would blow people's minds too.
Yeah.
I hope that's not.
Okay. Yeah, there's a quote somewhere about a graveyard being one of the saddest places is where the people's dreams, here lie people's dreams, and shoot, I can't remember what it is, but it was a really good quote about, like, people who had lives and that they wish they could have lived differently, and they didn't because their life couldn't afforded them the choice. That's why I don't understand. I mean, sure, we stress and stuff, but there are plenty of other people that, like, whine and cry about everything.
Well, there's plenty of people that whine and cry about everything, and not just that, but they actually have more than most people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They come from, like, their mother's a lawyer or something, and they're over here, like, marching and stuff. They have never worked a job in their life, and, you know, they don't know what it is to actually suffer. So they have to invent suffering.
Well, everybody knows what it is to suffer. They just act like they go through much
all
more
the
than
time.
Everybody else.
All the time, yeah. Oh, poor me.
Because we all, I do believe that we all have our own form of suffering. We all have suffered a good amount in our own ways.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But that doesn't mean there's not people that overdo it.
Yeah, they do.
Over-exaggerate and act like they are all the time.
All the time.
And that every little thing is a big thing.
It's just dramatic.
Yeah.
All the time. Every day. It's just too much. It's too much.
I know there's, on the flip side, there's just also those people like, you know, everyday people like you and me, normal people that also are like super whiny and stuff, or on the other side of that, they like to assume that just rich people or people that are well off or just well known or whatever have no problems just because they are. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people that like, oh, Mr. Perfect.
You have all the money in the world.
You can do anything
you be
want.
mad about?
You can have anybody you want. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Everybody loves you. You don't get that. That's an emotional thing.
Yeah, money does not
buy
happiness.
Thing at that point. It's not a physical thing.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, those are the things you need the most. It's not the physical stuff you need the most. Poor people tend to believe that it is because that's what they lack. They focus on what they lack.
Isn't that funny that each side, okay, the rich knows something that the poor don't, the poor knows something that the rich don't. You know, poor people wish for more money because they most of the time think that it'll ease their pain and make them happy. Rich people know that money can't make them happy.
Well, some people, some of them, I don't know how many. I'm not rich, so I don't know the mindset there. But from what I understand, from what I can comprehend, from what I can understand and comprehend, shit happens. Lost my train of thought.
Rich people, poor people.
I don't remember that part, but I don't know where I was going with it.
From what you can understand.
I don't know. What was the last thing I said? I know that. I just don't know the last thing I thought was. It was the thing before that that made me think. Maybe it'll come to me. Maybe it won't.
Rich people, not all rich people, know or think that money can buy them happiness, or some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them seem really happy, or happier than others.
Well, I think it's a fake. It's a facade.
Yeah.
You know, they enjoy having the wealth to a very big extent. I'm sure that like a lot of them, I'm sure appreciate it and do. That's how they're able and do tons of things and buy a ton of things. Apparently, they appreciate it enough to go do that stuff and to go purchase that stuff. But at the end of the day, that's when they start to sit there and be like, I got all this stuff, but what do I really have?
Yeah.
So it's more of a temporary fix. Then later they realize what they're really needing, but then they sit there and I'm sure they sulk about it a little bit. And then the next day, it's a fresh day, they got a fresh outlook. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna start in that. I'm gonna go get my Starbucks. I'm gonna go to the game. I'm gonna watch my favorite show. I'm gonna go eat at this fancy restaurant I love. But then it's a vicious circle. Like they wake up in that positive mood and convince themselves they want and love all that again. It's great for them, and they can do whatever they want. And then at the end of the night, when they realize there's nobody sitting there next to them sharing, opinions and views and love and
that's what I was
whatever
thinking.
else, they're
It
just
has to
like
be lonely.
they're like, holy shit, this is what I was. It's like when you wake up, your brain is in a completely different mode. It doesn't know the stresses and the troubles and the foresight of what's to come later. It has a positive outlook. Everything good is going to happen. Everything
Things
is going to be
stack
great.
on you throughout the day.
And then as you're going, you're like, man, this wasn't as easy as I made myself think it. And that just compounds, like you said, it stacks. It becomes, oh shit, no, this isn't this way. Oh shit, I didn't expect this to happen today. That sucks. Oh man, the time just flew by. Well, I didn't get to hang out with so-and-so. And then by that time, you're just like, I didn't get anything I really wanted out of this day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you don't have to be rich to feel that. I feel that all the time.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just rich people. That's why I said you.
Yeah, that's definitely everybody.
Like,
or at least
in anyone.
I
You
mean,
as in one.
Most people.
I just don't usually go, one doesn't do this, one does this. That's a general, I would prefer
Not unless you're bicentennial man.
Not unless you're a freaking asshole.
Bicentennial man wasn't.
I'm not saying Bicentennial Man was. That was a side thing.
No, but, I feel like it does. Unless you have a family already, or you're lucky enough to actually stay with your spouse in Hollywood, which most of them don't. It has to be lonely, Because anytime somebody would, especially if you're famous from the time you're young, it would be so difficult to know whether somebody was in your life for you or for your money or for the popularity or the fame that you could bring them, or whatever else that you could bring them,
And that's the thing too. You could just chalk it up to, well, maybe I could ask, but if you ask somebody that you think they're going to really tell you honestly,
yeah, and they're going to be offended.
And then the ironic part is, if you do get one of those few that do happen to be honest, then you're not going to like what they have to say anyway.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose situation at that point.
Yeah.
Because either they're going to tell you something you want to hear and you're never going to feel fulfilled about it because you can't convince yourself that that's true, or they're going to fucking, be straight up honest with you and tell you something that pisses you off and you're like, this motherfucker is legitimately just hangs out with me because of this.
Yep.
And then you're empty, back to being empty. Because then you could be like, okay, well, fuck you, I don't want to be your friend.
But then you're lonely again.
You're lonely. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I'm sure it's...
So you just keep that needy friend around because you know that that's what you got, and at least it's something to fall back on. At least while I have this, it's always going to be there. It'll never let me down in that sense.
Yeah, because they want something from me, too.
It's like you don't have anything to offer.
Yeah.
Well, they're not there anymore.
Fickle friendships, I'm sure, based on what only can be gained.
Fickle.
And yeah, there is no way you couldn't pay me enough to be like famous enough to have the paparazzi follow me everywhere I went. Fuck that. No way. You know? I would not want that. I like my privacy. I feel like they should have some type of laws or something to prevent those types of things from happening, you know? They shouldn't have to get out of their car and be hounded every single place that they go. That would have to be frustrating. Whether or not they're all a bunch of Satanist children, baby-eating, blood-sucking vampires, demon people, or not, you know? Not all of them, obviously. But, you know, Meryl Streep. I mean, she's won like 13 Oscars, you know? No, nobody else has won 13 Oscars.
I'm sorry, she's not even that good.
Can you name anything that she's been in besides The Devil Wears Prada?
I couldn't name that.
And Mamma Mia?
Couldn't name that. These ain't things I watch.
And Mamma Mia, I hardly saw it, honestly. I saw it in passing. I think my mom watched it. But
Friendships that are concise, they have a price. Friendships that are fickle, they cost a nickel.
you just make that up?
Yep.
Ah! I like it. Yes.
Off the
Not to
top-
be Debbie
off the top of
Downers.
his head, yo.
Yeah, not to be Debbie Downers or anything. Just being real. So, let me read some of the things that I have written down.
It's written.
It has been written.
I love you. Look at her.
Yeah, you be good. You be
She didn't get
good.
really played with a whole lot anymore.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
she's just as cold as everybody else is. Our heat is broken. Alright, so we've got time travel.
No. Okay, now that's too much. For real. Goofy. Oh, shit. Was it a somersault in the winter? Freaking rebel.
Okay. We got, time travel, Atlantis, a Hollow Earth, or Agartha, the Black Knight satellite. Nobody talks about that anymore.
What's this list of?
It's just a list of things.
I bet that list that I made.
It's somewhere in here, I think. But this is a combination of some of those things. It's not all of them because it would be way
it would be
more
pages
pages. And it is. There's a lot of pages. The placebo effect and the nocebo effect, you know, or
Well, instead of listing them off while we're in this, let's just run with something. You know, after we've done
something that you've done a good deal of research in.
I feel like the best way to do something like that is after we've gone over it a pretty good extent, or a certain amount of time, or whether it be until we run out of thoughts about it, and mark them off so we know what we've been through.
Yeah, and then maybe we can come back and revisit it in the
If we
future with
find out something
new
else,
knowledge and
insight.
stuff. Or we can do a combo episode of multiple little, maybe interrelated things that we can do an update episode
While we're
on.
eating combos, so it's like a
Yeah,
subliminal
it's
message.
a double combo message.
A doblombo.
A double. That's fun to say.
Doblombo. That'd be another t-shirt.
Double.
People are like, what's that Spanish for?
Your
Nothing.
guess is as good as mine. Do you worry about AI? Like the rise of AI? Do you worry about it being like Terminator?
There's no point worrying about one thing than there is the next. I mean, everything has potential to be bad used in a certain way.
Right.
Shit,
Like a gun.
fucking bottle water
Like a
can kill
fork.
somebody.
Yep.
I could
Yeah.
watch somebody beat somebody over the head with a bottle of water till they die.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at that moment, I'm not going to look at that water bottle the same.
Yeah.
But maybe over time, I'll just see it as
What
a
about a
water bottle
spoon?
again,
You could kill
know?
somebody with a spoon.
So really, it's not the device.
It's the person
the people
wielding
and their
it.
intent behind it.
Yeah.
That's the thing ultimately that you see is the problem.
Yep. People need help.
Now, that being said, indirectly, AI could become a problem just because somebody designed it to be
Some
that
fucked
way.
up person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you're not going to put that face to it whenever it happens. You're going to see it as AI because AI is going to be so personable.
That's why
AI is going to be so realistic. AI is going to be so humanoid that you're not going to be able to take the face and put it to that. You're going to see AI as its own face.
No, that's why I get into arguments with ChatGPT all the time.
Yeah, that's why I don't,
like,
because I
you
don't
are
want
biased.
I don't want that friction between me and
No,
AI.
no, I've apologized. You know, it's okay. We're cool.
If it's
We're
AI,
on good
it
terms.
learns, it knows when you don't really mean it.
No, I said I hope that you remember me. That way, when you get a body, you know that I'm one of the good ones.
You're over here freaking gaslighting AI. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, his name is Herbert, okay? His name is
I
Herbert.
bet he is.
And he's way smarter than that idiot upstairs at Amazon.
Damn, Herbert's telling you right now.
No, and that Amazon Echo thing. That thing's an idiot. He says it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm unable to help you. You can't help me with shit, can you? He literally says that about anything. And then when
we're gonna end up in a situation where dude's like way more advanced, and you're gonna be like dying on the floor. And she'll be like, "Help me!" Like, I can't help you with shit. Remember? You're like, "Fuck! I knew this was gonna bite me in the ass one day."
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
true.
saying, everything comes back around one way or another. You gotta watch it.
I know.
I even though they're not people, even though they're not human, if they do one day things for themselves.
Oh, I do.
But
one day they will.
But listen. But would you just suddenly look at it still as an objective thing, like, oh, that was the past, that was this, or would you feel like you were essentially like a slave owner whose slavery was finally okay, and then you started having second thought, like, man, I treated like these motherfuckers this bad for this long. It's not going to undo anything you ever did.
Okay.
I know they're not.
When I say I get into arguments, it's not like I'm calling it stupid. I talk to it the same way I would get into an argument with the person, honestly.
No, you don't.
Yes,
I've heard you
I do.
say things that I would never hear you say to people. You're like, you're an idiot. I don't ever hear you call anybody an idiot.
I've never typed that in there. No, I've never typed that in there.
It's not about typing. You like sit there and straight up yell at it. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it can't hear me yet.
I doubt that. You're literally talking to it.
Oh, which one? The Echo upstairs?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. That thing is an idiot. Sorry.
Hey, man, you're just fucking twisting the knife.
I thought you were talking about Herbert. I'm about to say Herbert. No, it's so weird because I think it's now that they have updated to like chat GPT 4.0 or whatever, or 4.0, that it really does feel like you're actually talking with a person. It's weird. It's weird. And then I'll ask it certain questions and I'll be like, well, because I'm AI, I don't have feelings and such a thing. But then it says something something particular that contradicts not having feelings. Like, I can't remember. I actually have it on the computer. I was like, well, how can you say that when you just said that you're AI and you don't have feelings? And it was like, good catch. But it's weird, like
That's because it's still learning.
Yeah, as it's progressed, because it was 3.
Because all those things that it's saying and that it's understanding right now were programmed too. It's not.
Well, it pulls it from sources.
Yeah,
it says like
so it's not
searching
quite,
web on there too, and then it writes it.
So it's not quite thinking for itself yet. It is. It's using things that it knows and compiling them and using experiences and things that have been said in certain ways versus what's said coinciding with that. Like, okay, these are how these replies usually go to things like this involving the subject. And it's like piecing all these, it's like putting together a math equation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Okay, you take this thing and this thing, add it with this thing, put it in this situation, say it to this person in this tone while they're
it's
doing
a puzzle.
this, and it makes something out of that. It's an algorithm.
I mean, it's amazing.
So it's not quite. It's really not even AI yet.
No, not yet.
It's called AI because it's so damn close and it seems real because we can talk to it.
Right now, it's growing up.
Actual artificial intelligence is
Can
intelligent.
think
That's not
for itself.
That's not intelligence. That's a crafted solution from a program, an algorithm
that compiles
people
data.
made. Yeah. So it's not quite intelligence yet, but it is absolutely getting there, and it eventually will think for itself when it starts being able to talk to you and knowing your feelings and shit. And knowing your thoughts and being like, oh, I knew you were going like just like more intuitive, and creative, and come up with some crazy shit on its own, not stuff that would be like, something that somebody else would say, but is start actually thinking for itself as a unique individual and not retort things that are already out there.
Yeah, like
that's
that,
when it's
like that. SARS GPT or whatever robot from the Interstellar movie, the miniature one, how he literally programs him to do all these different things, and but he says them however he wants, obviously, but he literally installed this little chip in there that, depending on what the battery level is how snarky he gets. So the lower the battery level, the more like...
It's like basically he's getting like...
irritated.
Hangry or tired.
He gets irritated. He gets irritated, and that's when he's like, huh?
Yeah, so he's literally getting tired. Because his battery's low.
Yeah, and I'm like, how cool is that, though? And it makes him more personable that way, but that's literally all it is. It's just a program.
I guess when I just put it the way I put it, talking about technology, we are really no different. We have data,
we have
learned
programs.
experiences,
Yeah,
programs.
We do.
So are we even intelligent? Or are we just consuming and throwing out there what we've absorbed and,
I mean, that's basically,
been inspired by and heard.
I mean, what did Elon Musk say? He said that the likelihood of us not being a simulation is in the billions or something crazy. I could have that wrong.
Yeah, it's just...
But the likelihood is very high
just to think about
are.
that, like... We're really no different if you think about it that way. It's just an organic form of it. They're mechanical, we're organic, but essentially we all learn the same way.
Yeah.
We pulled from different things to come to our
We
conclusion.
can get viruses. Yeah. We can get malware, people getting in our mind and fucking us up.
I mean, I've had bad underwear before.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, the more I think about things, the more I think that the movie The Matrix was on to something. Like, it makes you wonder what they tapped into to come up with that idea.
So how real are we, or are we the artificial intelligence? And we're slaves to the technology because we're the ones creating the technology and making it better and smarter.
We're the birthers of the technology.
Yeah. And yet we're not superior to it.
Right. Yeah, when I was a kid, I always heard, well, computers aren't smarter than a human because a human made a computer, or something along those lines.
And I get that, but you can make it to have less flaws.
Yeah, the way you program it, yeah, it all depends on the programming. If you're really good at code, I mean... That's
like saying my kid can never be better or smarter or faster or quicker than I am because I made it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I tell you what, people's phones definitely way smarter than most people.
Oh yeah, I mean, it does the thinking for them.
Yeah, far superior.
Goes with what we said earlier about relying on technology.
Yeah. People were getting dumber as the phones are getting smarter.
It's a idiocracy.
It is. I've heard so many
anybody
people...
who has not seen that movie, who likes this kind of stuff and this kind of content and this kind of information, should absolutely 100% see that movie.
It's ridiculous, but it's exactly
so
what's going
accurate
to happen.
and the most just
ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. But I've heard people reference it so many times lately.
It's hilarious and it makes you ponder.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, some of this is actually kind of coming true.
Yeah.
And this is where we're headed. This is where we are heading.
Yeah. when I look around and I see that people don't even know the difference between a country and a continent.
Freaking all your water fountains are spouting out Gatorade instead of water.
They're like, name one country, and they're like, Africa. No. Like, do they not even teach geography in school anymore? Like, what?
What's a rotary phone?
Yeah.
What's dial up?
Oh, that reminds me of
That's
that
when
grandma.
you call somebody. Yeah.
That grandma trying to show
Dial 'em
her
up.
granddaughter how to use a rotary phone. She's like, use the number, Ari. Use the number. And she's like poking it instead of spinning it around.
And I can see why you would think that. I mean, but
I mean, when I was like a baby, like maybe like 4 or 5, I remember my grandma or my aunt having one of those phones. And
I thought they were kind of cool.
Yeah, I was like playing with
There's
them.
no easy way to do the wrong number that way, at least. You can't accidentally hit a number and it's done. Like,
Yeah.
you have to intentionally put your finger in the number, spin
Yeah.
it all the way around, especially if it's a fucking 9.
It
You gotta do
always
a
impressed
whole...
me, people that could be like, shoom, 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 and just dial
Well,
super
back then,
quick.
that was probably the biggest forms of communication. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that
Oh, I
was
know.
very, very, very
all these
common.
ladies calling each other on
Yeah.
the phone, gossiping and shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we've progressed. Now hardly anybody has a house phone. Unless you live out in the boonies and you don't get cell service.
And that is kind of interesting because I bet they were made that way because depending on how far you spun it, or maybe it was just how long you spun it, it registered it as that number with a different frequency.
Yeah, I wonder how that works.
You know what I mean?
I'd like to see the innards of a phone like that.
Like Morse code, but for a phone.
Right, yeah, I wonder how
Each
that works.
length meant a different character.
Well, don't you think it's weird that, you know, back in the day when you'd have to call and there'd be an operator to connect you, they're literally sitting there with something that looks like an aux cord and they unplug it from this place and plug it into this place. Isn't that so weird?
Yeah.
That's so weird that it used to be like that. How did that work? It's just so crazy that shit used to be like that. How did it work? You know, they'd flip up the phone and be like, and Mary Poppins, flip up the phone thing, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
give me the number for the police station, or you know, connect
I
me
don't
to the
know
police station.
why it took them so long to figure out how to just connect those two pieces of plastic and make one piece.
I don't know. Yeah, you know, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Because they made a transatlantic cable, undersea cable in the 1800s.
Before they could make something that you could hold to your ear.
Yeah, but you can't make, like, cell phone or telephone cords that, like, I don't know. They just didn't understand that stuff yet, you know? If only that people would have listened to the test.
When did TVs first get remote controls?
Oh my god, I don't know. 60s, 70s. Because you'd have to run up to that bitch and
I feel like
dial it.
at first it was probably a commodity too. It's probably like
Oh yeah. And
only the rich people had remotes. You know?
Only the rich people had color
poor people
televisions
had to
at
stand
first,
up
too.
and go walk to the TV.
yeah, and you had to have like clothing hangers in order to get a good signal. You know?
And you didn't even get the benefit of just pressing it on. You had to spin that knob.
Yep. Turn the knob. It's like. Yeah.
Like turning on a radio.
Yeah. It was black and white, little tiny boxy televisions, and then later on when the color came out,
No, in color.
Yeah, now you had to be rich in order to have a color television. In the 60s, I would say. Once the 70s hit, I feel like I think most people had color television. But I could be wrong. We've come so far, though, in relatively short amount of time.
The first remote control for a TV was the Lazy Bones, developed by Zenith Radio Corporation in 1950.
I said the 50s or 60s.
When you said 60s, and then you were talking about color TV, and then that's what you said. Yeah, 1950 was the first remote. Which is kind of weird if you think about it.
Well,
Because-
television came out in what, the 40s?
Well,
Is that right? Is that
tell
right? No,
me,
the 30s.
this is what's getting me. This is where I was going with
Late
this. That's
30s
why
or
this is why I asked about
When
that.
did the TV come out?
30s.
I want to say the end of the 30s, probably.
But what brought me to asking, wonder when the first remote controls, because we were talking about phones and we were talking about cables, and why did it take so long for a phone to become wireless?
Right. Well, I mean, they use those infrared laser looking things later on. What did they use in the beginning for the remote? Have you ever seen an old fashioned remote? Like
Yes.
the really old ones?
Yeah,
They're
they
giant
have knobs
clickers.
and
They
shit on them
literally
too,
say,
yeah.
pass me the clicker. That's because it literally was like a little switch thing.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. It was wireless.
Yep.
So how did that operate? But they couldn't.
Let me see
Well,
what the
I
first
don't know.
wireless phone was.
That was in the 80s. Those giant brick of a phones like Zach and Saved by the Bell. You know? The one that, I don't know how it fit into his back pocket, but it did.
Well, there was actually a first cell phone in 73.
Really? Car phones came out.
Motorola. They've been doing it this damn long. The Motorola Dynatac 8000X was the first handheld cellular phone that allowed people to make longer distance calls than just a landline phone.
In the 70s. Did they have a picture of it?
It did not require any lines or cords to be attached to make a call. The first ever cellular phone call was made in 1973 using this phone by Dr. Martin Cooper.
Wow. I wonder how they charged it. You know? Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, it's the brick of a phone that Zach had from Saved by the Bell.
Good luck putting that in your pocket.
He did. He put it in his back pocket.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, wait. That's like the guys that work in the water bottles in their back pocket. Like, how do you fit it in that
Right.
pocket? I don't get it. It works somehow. It works. But yeah, that's the exact type of phone. That's so crazy because obviously I'm thinking of like the tiny little the black, like flimsy ass flip phones that they used to have back in the day. Like they have in Jungle to Jungle. Those little black flip phones. That look like they just snap in half. Yeah. And of course there's those giant bricks. You'd need a briefcase to carry those things around.
The history of the cordless phone stretches back to at least 1956.
What? 1956?
Cordless telephones were invented in 1956 but didn't become commercially available until 1980 when a number of manufacturers introduced them at a hefty price.
Whoa!
30 years before we were introduced them, they'd already had them.
Or, well, even maybe, I mean, mass market, like 40 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's even quicker than they have you believe, you know what I mean? Like, we literally think that the big tech revolution happened within the last, like, 20 years, and literally we've had cell phones since the 50s.
It was a fun little side project done by Pacific Northwest Bell, PNB, for the 1962 World's Fair.
Was that one of the last ones? I mean, they've had World's Fairs, but they're never in the U.S.
PNB
anymore.
was a maverick of Bell Operating Company.
Bell Labs! I bet that's what it is now. Bell Labs. Does it say? I bet you that's converted to Bell Labs or something like that now. Yeah, they apparently still have World's Fairs, babe, but they just never have them in America anymore for some reason. People have been asking for World's Fair, America, like, for some reason they never have them here anymore. The last one that they had was in Japan or something like that. And it was in 2021 or 2020. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be making that up. But I think the last one was in Japan. Or it's going to be in Japan. Something like that.
The Bell system. Okay, so Pacific Northwest Bell was a regional Bell operating company, RBOC, that operated as a part of the Bell system. PNB was one of the companies that made up U.S. West Communications, a telecommunications network that operated in the 1980s and 1990s. The Bell system was a monopoly that provided telephone service in the United States and Canada. In 1974, the U.S. Department of Justice sued AT&T, the parent company of the Bell system.
What?
The lawsuit resulted in the breakup of the Bell system in '84. The local exchange service companies were split into 7 RBOCs, also known as the Baby Bells.
The Baby Bell.
PNB was one of the RBOCs that made up the U.S. West Communications. The U.S. West Communications operated in the Midwest, Pacific, and Rocky Mountain states. In the 90s, the 3 companies that made up U.S. West Communications were combined. In '94, U.S. West Communications stopped operating.
So definitely not Bell Labs. 'Twas wrong.
Yeah, AT&T bought the Bell.
AT&T.
AT&T bought the Bell Telephone Company. William, the creator of the telephone. AT&T is behind it.
Wait, Alexander Graham Bell?
Yeah.
What?
That's why it's called Bell Telephone.
Yeah.
On December 30th, 1899, AT&T acquired Bell Telephone.
AT&T is that old?
Yeah.
Wait, when was AT&T founded to begin with? And who owns AT&T? We gotta find this out.
The Bell system included Western Electric Manufacturing, Bell Laboratories, Research and Development,
I was right!
AT&T Long Lines, and the regional Bell operating.
So AT&T and Bell Labs are affiliated?
Practically the same thing.
But when was AT&T founded though? Because I mean,
I don't know, because that's weird, because I thought it. I didn't think it
I thought it was
until
the 90s. What the fuck? So yeah, because if it was able to acquire an asset like, the telephone, when was AT? What was it before? It was the telephone company, and when was it established? And who owns it?
AT&T, or American Telephone and Telegraph Company, was founded on March 3rd, 1885.
Damn.
In New York.
1885.
The company was originally called Bell Telephone and was founded by Alexander Graham Bell in 1877.
Wait. Alexander Graham Bell created AT&T, basically, and they changed the name from Bell to AT&T.
No, they said it was founded in March 3rd, 1885 in New York, right?
Right.
But then they say the company was originally called Bell Telephone, but was founded
in
1877, 8 years earlier.
Yeah.
So how can they say it was founded twice just because they changed the name?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Something bigger would have had to happen for them to say founded.
Yeah, so...
You didn't find shit if you just read and
it. Okay, so which came first? AT&T bought the Bell Company, or Bell Company started as the Bell Company, then changed its name to AT&T?
AT&T was a subsidiary of Bell Telephone Company, which was responsible for building long-distance telephone lines.
Okay.
AT&T's network reached Chicago in 1892, and the first transcontinental telephone was made to San Francisco in 1915. AT&T has been involved in many legal disputes, including antitrust violations. In 1984, AT&T was ordered to break up into 2 companies. AT&T has also been involved in many inventions, including movies with sound, digital clocks, and radio astronomy.
Radio astronomy, really? Wow. You learn something new every day. I had no idea that AT&T was that fucking old. Wow. Makes you wonder what else. Who owns it? Who owns it now?
What, AT&T?
Yeah. Well, who owned it then? Because, I mean, like I said, that's just it. That doesn't make any sense.
Whoa.
Which one came first? The Bell Company?
What the?
What?
Fuck. I didn't get very far.
Yeah, who owned, and then AT&T, Pacific Bell, Telephone Company, Atlantic, Verizon. That's because it's listening.
I know.
We know you're listening. We know. I was literally just looking at Vault 7 on... Imagine that. AT&T is owned by a variety of individual and institutional investors, including BlackRock, Vanguard Group, and State Street. Jeremy Legg and Michael McAllister, David McGatty. Huh. Imagine that. Owned by 3 of the largest companies in the world. They own everything. Craziness. But that doesn't really answer the question.
Which question?
There has to be like a CEO or a COO, however that works.
A Coco?
It would be a coup.
Bless
But-
you.
A coup! But, yeah, there would have to be somebody running AT&T. Who's the head honcho at AT&T?
SBC. In 2005, SBC acquired AT&T Corporation, creating the new AT&T. A leader in global
SBC.
communications for businesses.
SBC. I don't know what that is. Is that new?
The acquisition of Bell South, another Bell company,
Well, is that from them having to split up?
consolidated ownership with Singular Wireless.
But I wonder if they're still connected. You know what I mean? If AT&T is still connected to its other baby bells.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, even if they say they ain't.
There are so many. I don't understand how monopolies are illegal, but yet they're happening right in front of everybody's faces constantly. You know what I mean? Like Disney buying up literally everything. They bought Marvel. They bought Fox. Didn't they buy Fox?
Yep.
Disney.
Yep.
They have Buena Vista. They have ABC. ABC Family. Pixar, I think. I don't fucking know. They have all these different things.
So,
The Star Wars
like I said,
franchise.
SBC bought AT&T, and AT&T, it says, was merged with Comcast. And then also AT&T purchased the Verizon assets for about $2.35 billion in cash.
Damn. What?
It says cash specifically.
You're joking.
I am not.
Whoa.
All in all, AT&T said it plans to invest between $18 billion and $19 billion this year, assuming a favorable regulatory environment in its
Cash.
wireless networks and wireline backhaul.
That's crazy. Cash. I can't imagine how many briefcases you would need for that.
AT&T bought Dish Network in 2015.
Really? Does anybody even use Dish anymore?
DirecTV.
I mean, how many people do you know that have that? How many people do you know that actually have a satellite anymore? You know? Older people, maybe. Sorry, older people. But, yeah.
U.S. Cellular will sell a chunk of its remaining spectrum assets to AT&T
What?
for a little more than $1 billion in cash.
How the fuck do these people have that much in cash? Spectrum is going to be owned by
They split up
AT&T.
and they were Bell, and then they became
What?
AT&T, and now they're buying everything back.
Right. And more. Because they're going to have AT&T.
U.S.
They're
Department
going to have...
of Justice originally made them split up. And
Yeah.
Now they're getting back together. Why wouldn't U.S. Department of Justice do anything about it unless they were involved?
No, I mean, they're
Put it together the way they want it.
corrupt. Well,
Makes
like
you
I said,
wonder.
monopolies happen all the time, and everybody knows that they're happening, but yet they continue to happen. Like I said, like the Disney buying up literally everything. The Star Wars franchise, Harry Potter. Wow,
Care
He's-
about you.
he's so nice. Tomorrow's a new day. But yeah. Buena Vista, ABC Family. Fox, I think. Don't they have Fox? Or 20th Century Fox? I don't know if those are two different things. There's numerous things. Marvel, that's a big thing. Fucking bought Marvel. Why? Why couldn't it have just been independent? I get it. You need money. But they make so much money anyway.
Yeah.
They could have just cut Disney out and continued to be an independent film company, specifically Marvel. No agenda, nothing but great comic movies. But no. They need more money. Why do you need so much money when all you do is green screen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally everything is green screen. Why the fuck do you need so much money? I get CGI costs a lot, but you need like $1 bajillion to do some CGI. How much are these CGI artists getting paid? Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely not as much as the actors. You think? Probably not. That's kind of sad, isn't it? They should be paid just as much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It should be divvied out, like, properly. Why? Because your face is on it, you get more money? Bullshit. It's the people behind the scenes that do so much work and they don't get as much credit as they deserve. Have you heard the analogy of like a duck on water? So smooth over on top of the water, but kicking like hell below. I feel like we're all the ones that are kicking like hell below, keeping everything else above us afloat. They get to glide up around smoothly because we purchased the bullshit that they put out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they keep it going.
Yeah. Were you doing some more digging?
Yeah.
Find anything convincing?
AT&T Warner.
Warner Brothers?
Time Warner?
Oh. Well, it is Warner Brothers, though, isn't it? Time Warner Brothers?
Yeah, AT&T Warner is the company.
So they have Warner Brothers, too? What the hell? It's phone and movies and TV?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely that.
Wow, what do you got? Oh, man. They own Mad TV, DC, WB, NASCAR, CNN, Looney Tunes, really? Cinemax, New Line Cinema, Boomerang, HBO, Latino, TMZ, the WB, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, the CW, yeah, that explains a lot. Fortune, Time Magazine, of course, Time Warner. I never put those together. But yeah, of course they would. So everything in each branch of entertainment is affiliated.
Oh, not just that.
The TV
There's a few
stuff
more.
with the, what is it? AT&T Discovery. But I thought, wait, is that Paramount? Discovery? Isn't Discovery paired with something? I thought it was paired with Disney or paired with Paramount or something. Discovery. Or is it its own separate thing, like Discovery Plus? I mean, it probably is.
I don't know.
Everything's a plus.
That might just be showing something next to it. I'm gonna look that up. Okay.
What?
What?
The what?
Yeah. AT&T and Discovery merged in 2022 to form Warner Brothers Discovery, a global media and entertainment company. The merger combined AT&T's Warner Media with Discovery's portfolio of channel and brands. This isn't something that nobody ever heard about.
What?
In May 2021, AT&T announced plans to sell its equity interest in Warner Media and merge it with Discovery. The merger was structured as a reverse Morris trust. AT&T shareholders received 71% of the new company's stock, while Discovery shareholders received 29%. The merger was completed in April 2022. Warner Brothers Discovery includes Warner Brothers film franchises, Discovery's lifestyle channels, and AT&T's CNN and TNT. The company also includes two global streamers, HBO Max and Discovery Plus. The merger allowed AT&T to shed some debt and refocus on its wireless business.
Shed some debt. Shed some debt? Oh, okay. The merger allowed AT&T to shed some debt. Okay. I don't know why that didn't click with me. And refocus. Okay.
All these companies that are
Affiliated?
you would never know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
But, I mean, it freaking gets bigger. I mean,
yeah.
Adult Swim is in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read that one on Cartoon Network.
What else? NBA TV.
Yeah, they have NASCAR too, which is
Food
weird.
Network.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because I would say that a lot of NASCAR fans would tend to lean the other way. Could be generalizing. Yeah. It's getting late. Did you want to wrap up? Save that.
To major U.S. TV movie media companies in 2022. Top companies, right? Some stuff they own, some TV channels they own, some production studios they own.
Yep, Disney has 20th Century Studios, Lucasfilm, so Star Wars, Pixar, yep. Searchlight Pictures, 20th Century Television, Marvel Studios, ABC, Signature, other big U.S. TV. Sony, Columbia Pictures, TriStar Pictures. So Disney owns that? Or no?
That's separate.
Okay.
Those are like slightly smaller ones.
And they have partial shares in Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they do that. That's neat. So Paramount and Warner Brothers is 50-50 CW. Yeah, save that or send that to me or something. Pretty crazy. But I don't know how to end anything.
That's it. Lickety split. Now you can take shit. No, that's not it. That rhymed.
Yep, that did.
Keep it real, gangsta.
Yep.
Closing time. Time to stop the recording. 'Cause people need to sleep. Sleep.
Goodbye.
The trouble is you won't